Well, hey there. Welcome back to Podcast for Your Life. I'm Jason.
I'm Jam.
And today we have a hilarious, it's a hilarious episode. Not us who will be laughing. It will be the fake audience.
Oh, yeah. We're going to add one in, I guess. I'm making that decision right now.
Awesome. Cue the rim shot, too, while you're at it. So, I
don't think they do this anymore, actually.
I
don't think those... I mean, I think these are only for, like... Yeah, those are only just for live stand-up or whatever.
Sure. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Jam?
Dude, laugh tracks.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I guess we should probably just describe what a laugh track is, because it's been at least a decade since most of our listeners have heard it.
Oh, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's still out there.
No.
Yep. I'm afraid so.
It's the 90s all over again.
Yeah, so...
Excuse me, it's the 50s all over again.
Yeah, so here's what a laugh track is. To my understanding, it's like back in the day when they were the original sitcoms, they would actually perform them like a little bit like a play or whatever in front of an actual audience. Mm-hmm. And so you get to actually hear, they would just set up a mic and record also how the audience reacted to stuff. And I'm guessing it was on accident at first. And they're like, oh, hey, this is actually great. Let's just include it. Let's make it feel like it happened live, kind of like... Because it did.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
Like SNL or any of those variety shows where there's actually an audience. Mm-hmm. So they did that, and a lot of sitcoms had that for decades and decades. I can't really tell you how long. I'm not sure. And then at a certain point, when it stopped really being reasonable to like do the actual sitcom live, where there's actually an audience in the studio, they decided to just go ahead and keep the laughter because people were used to it, I guess. And they wanted to kind of tell people when to laugh, which we can get into like some of those reasons later or whatever. So a laugh track is the pre-recorded, added in fake laughter.
Yeah.
In sitcoms.
Yeah, I think they did it on radio programs back in like the 50s and 60s. I think one of the earlier shows that used a laugh track was I Love Lucy. And
was it a track? It wasn't a...
Yeah.
It wasn't a live audience?
No, they specifically had...
No way.
I looked it up a little bit. They used an actual laugh track. So,
dude, we don't normally do research, but that is a fascinating bit of research. Like,
there you go.
I would have, like bet money that they had an actual audience, just because I feel like that show was popular enough. It was an early enough time where I feel like the idea of having an audience wouldn't have been weird, but maybe the way they produced it didn't allow for that. I don't know what their sets were like, something like that. But
yeah, or they just wanted to add it in there. Like I think sometimes they use laugh tracks to like add to the audience laughter or make sure that like they laugh at the punchline or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. But I do remember even in like when I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, I remember watching some of the older shows like The Cosby Show, which is from I think the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And they would say at the end of the credits, you know, The Cosby Show is filmed in front of a live audience, or, you know, Home Improvement is filmed in front of a live audience. And so it still seems like they did have live audiences for a lot of those shows.
Yeah. In Seinfeld, I'm pretty sure had a live audience for almost the entire thing.
Sure.
I think there were certain set pieces they had, like if they had a piece that was like them walking on the street or something like that. I'm not sure if they always were able to have an audience for that.
Sure.
I'm not positive. But I do know that like all the main sets that were like recurring ones, like Jerry's apartment and all that stuff, were actual sets. And you'll see some behind the scenes footage sometimes where it was just shot in like the NBC like sound stages where it's like just like SNL is, where there's just some people that are get to watch it.
And so, I guess as we jumped into the 2000s, there still are shows that that use not a live audience. I'm pretty sure they're just laugh tracks at this point, based off of like I don't know, camera angles and stuff. But it's interesting how the laugh track is still going on.
Yeah,
and they're starting to kind of transition out of a lot of them. But shows like The Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, what's the one with Last Man Standing? They all have laugh tracks.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you're so, like, at least I am so used to other shows, you know, dramas, it makes sense to not have a laugh track or
right.
Like this drama filmed in front of a live studio audience, like gasping and screams and stuff. That'd be super interesting. But I think it's interesting how they're starting to transition away from that, especially with, you know, the rise of streaming services and stuff.
It is weird how like for other types of shows that aren't comedies, how the idea of having an audience that you record is like totally foreign. Like you wouldn't want someone's gasps or they're like crying from like a drama that you're watching or whatever.
Or like tell you when to scream, right? Like you're watching, Signs, and they have like this person who's like, on camera or in the audience, and you're like, that wasn't even scary.
Yeah. Or like the kind of things that you actually don't want to hear from audiences. So imagine like you had that audience track. So it's not laugh track, just like the audience track recording. And it's like someone talking during it, like, oh no, oh man, listen, dude, she does not love you. Like that kind of stuff that like people just talking about the show while it's happening. Like, man, give up. You know that she's cheating on you.
Leave her.
Or like, this is not going to work out well. This plan's not going to go well. Or like,
don't open that door.
Can't you see that your business partner is embezzling money? Like things like that you would be hearing like audiences say, and you'd be like, don't ruin the drama, dude. Like,
yep.
It's almost like 98% of situations you wouldn't want to hear what the audience is doing.
Sure.
Except if they're laughing. Or like in a lot of laugh situations, they also have like the oh
or the woo they finally kiss or whatever.
Yeah, they finally
like
kiss.
Friends, it's like, the tension builds.
Yeah, but it's like every other type of audience potential thing. Like think about what happens whenever you and your wife or friends or whatever are watching a show at home. What kind of things do you guys talk about? And like how annoying would that be for it to be like part of the track of the show?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, anyone want water or anything like that? Just like part of it. And it's like, no, please don't put that in there. Like it's totally interrupting the show. But when it comes to laughter and woohoos, we like it.
It's fascinating.
For some reason.
I worked at a summer camp once, and I was like one of the video counselors. So not only did I like film activities around the camp, but I also taught kids how to like make their own home videos.
Dude, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we would have like basically a Mac lab kind of a deal where they would use Final Cut and stuff to make videos. And this one kid was like super obsessed with horror movies, and his video that he made was literally just like horror movie sounds. And so it basically was the equivalent of a laugh track, but for a horror movie. So it was just like sounds of like chains shaking, or like somebody going like, no. And I was like, this is basically a horror track.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it is funny
is
how
he doing okay, you think?
Dude, I don't know, man.
I hope so.
That was like 5 years ago. So do you like laugh tracks?
I don't like them.
Okay. Do you find them distracting or just annoying?
Well, but I mean, I don't like laugh tracks. I don't like the pre-recorded versions.
Sure.
I'm kind of cool with the hearing an actual audience. We're talking about the old school way, Seinfeld and others. But I don't like laugh pre-recorded track because...
Do you think you can tell when they're using a laugh track?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. And it's, I think partly because almost everything now doesn't have a real laughter.
Sure.
It's like, it's definitely a track. But it just feels so fake. Like, have you seen, you mentioned Big Bang Theory. I don't want to pick on it too much because it's kind of the low-hanging fruit of all sitcoms. But it's like, have you watched those videos where someone will edit out the laugh track of a scene?
No.
Okay, this is fascinating. Well, I'll show you later. But basically, they'll take a scene, any scene from Big Bang Theory. They'll take out all laugh track stuff. It'll be like some character walks in and it's like, oh, there's my lucky calculator, or something like that. Just says something like that.
And there's an awkward silence.
And then, because they take the laugh track out, there's this awkward silence, and you watch the actors just stand there. I'm like, I don't know how hard it was to film that kind of stuff. I'm sure it was challenging for the actors because there's not a real audience laughing. And then it's like, oh, your lucky calculator? You mean Robert? Like his calculator's name? And then another pause. And they just have all these pauses of laugh track. And as soon as you take it out, you're like, wasn't that funny? Like I would maybe chuckle a little bit, but it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And like, it just is weird how many times they're trying to tell you when to laugh. Like,
yeah, that's interesting.
Will you laugh at? Like, it's kind of like, will you laugh at every single joke, please? We'll give you a few seconds every time.
Yeah.
And it like is just so strange. It feels like so eerie, fake, weird kind of deal to watch those videos. I get that it's a little unfair because it also just feels weird to watch people just stand there and pause. But it kind of draws attention to the fact of like how many laugh tracks they put in, how many times they're trying to tell you when to laugh, and how many times it probably isn't even that funny of a joke, and they're like still kind of getting you to laugh or whatever.
I wonder if it's like herd mentality. Like if you hear other people laughing, it'll make it funnier or something. Which is interesting because like I think most of the funniest shows I've seen, funniest sitcoms, don't have the laugh track. Like one of my favorites is Parks and Recreation, and there's no awkward silences for the purpose of adding a laugh track or add space here. There are awkward pauses, but they aren't like it doesn't look like the person's waiting for people to laugh or whatever.
Yeah, and that's like a kind of new style too, where like it's like the documentary style of comedy.
Sure,
like they like in Parks and Rec, they never draw attention to cameras, but the way they use their cameras and like pan and move stuff and like zoom in and stuff like that is like a very different style than the older school. Like, and I think Big Bang Theory is still that old school style of situational comedy where it's like, yeah. But I do like that new style where it's like, we're not going to tell you when to laugh.
Yeah.
We're going to make it feel like you're actually kind of watching a real scenario play out.
Yeah. And then people laugh at the jokes that they get or the jokes they find the funniest, you know?
Yeah.
Like my wife and I have different senses of humor for the most part. But so I'll laugh usually when she laughs, but she'll laugh harder at jokes that I don't think are as funny.
Yeah.
And then I'll laugh at jokes that she doesn't think are that funny. So just like it gives people the opportunity to like laugh at the jokes that they think are funny and then not at the ones that are funny. I remember when they were still working on like adding laugh tracks to sitcoms back, you know, decades ago.
Yeah.
There was this one episode of Hogan's Heroes that they aired on national television that they basically did like an A/B test where they had one version of Hogan's Heroes that didn't have the laugh track, and then they had another version of that same episode that didn't have the laugh track. So one did, one didn't. And the one
is interesting.
The one with the laugh track won. It was like had better ratings or whatever. So
the heck.
So I'd be curious if they did a similar test today, if they would get that same thing. Like if they took like an episode of The Office and they did the laugh track, non-laugh track. Obviously, it would change up, you know, The Office completely because most of us are familiar with a non-laugh track Office.
Right.
But it'd be interesting to see if, you know, which one would.
Yeah, that's interesting. And there's like a lot of space too in like different between pieces of dialogue and stuff like that. In shows like The Office,
Sure.
There's a lot of times where there's not really room for you to add a laugh track, whereas it's kind of one of those things that like there is in other sitcoms.
Yeah, potentially.
So I bet it would feel weird, feel crowded, but maybe people would like it because they'd be like, "Oh, that is funny."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. Well, to wrap up, what's your favorite sitcom with a laugh track?
With a track.
With a laugh track.
Oh no.
Laugh tracks.
I don't know if I like any of the ones that use a fake one.
Come on, didn't you grow up with sitcoms? You know, Seinfeld.
No, but they don't have a laugh track. They had an actual audience. So, what your question is like, which one that's a fake version, right?
Yeah, but I think that any of those shows probably are they probably do use a laugh track to some extent, even if it's just adding to the audience.
Maybe that's true, but because they actually had a live audience and they actually
like Seinfeld and the Cosby Show were shows, even like Home Improvement. Those are like the three that I remember growing up. Maybe even Friends. They probably were filmed in front of a live audience for the most part, but I do believe that there were parts where they're still like they still come across as like it's got a laugh track at parts.
If that's the case, then definitely Seinfeld is my pick. If I have to pick one that's like straight up totally a fake thing, I don't think I like any of them. Like Big Bang, any of those that are like current day, I just can't do it.
Not even the Brady Bunch.
not even the Brady Bunch.
Not even the Brady Bunch.
I can't. It might be sacrilegious, but not even the Brady Bunch.
I would probably say the Cosby Show. I still think that's one of my favorite laugh track sitcoms. Yeah. Although again, it could be filmed in front of a live audience and supplemented with laugh tracks. So
yeah, R.I.P.
Fun times.
R.I.P. Bill Cosby.
Fun times. Hit the laugh track. Oh, that's right. We weren't gonna. Well, that basically wraps it up for today, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to rate us on, I think iTunes is the only place you can rate us nowadays because podcasts are always asking to rate them. And I'm like, I don't listen to iTunes, so I don't have any way of rating.
Yeah, we haven't really asked you guys to do that, and so we don't have really any ratings on there. But it does help. I think like they kind of feature certain ones that have good ratings or just are getting some kind of newbie attention. They try to like help little tiny podcasts like ours get some attention. So you don't have to do a fake rating. You can just be honest. But
yeah, please be honest.
Yeah.
Actually, it helps us better because then we can do better at doing better.
Yeah. Or give up.
Or give up, that's right. And move on to other things that take 15 minutes or less. Like the dishes? Laugh tracks. Laugh tracks. Should I laugh now?
Laugh tracks. Let the government tell you when to laugh.
Laugh tracks. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.